You know, modern bow hunting has gotten kind of confusing because there's so many choices. You've got choices for stabilizers, choices for rests, choices for sights, choices for releases. I mean, the selection is endless. And so what do you use? What feels the best? It's hard to go into a store and try something on or put it on your bow and shoot it a few times and then decide, well, I really don't like that one, or that's not as good as what I had before, or that's better than what I had before. So it can be confusing. But one of the things that I've found that's something that I go back to all the time is the IQ Bowsight. It's got that special centering reticle that allows me to shoot with both eyes open, and I don't use a peep. Now I like to use the IQ Pro Hunter. It's a sight like this. It's got 3 pins. With the bottom pin is a rover pin. The top 2 are fixed, so I can have a 20, a 30, and then a rover that can go to 40, 50, 60, 70. You'll find out that an IQ bow sight like this is going to make you a much better shot. You're actually going to gain at least 10 yards distance in your shooting. When you get the sight, it comes with the instruction manual. It tells you everything you need to know, everything we're talking about now. It comes with 4 of the hex wrenches. It comes with all the mounting hardware that you need. You use the flathead screws to mount because the mounting holes are countersunk. Before you tighten this all the way down, you want to pull that sight either up or pull it down and get it one direction. Make sure it's solid and then get it nice and tight. Now we're going to set up the IQ reticle. It's a green window with a black dot in the middle. In order to line it up, we've got to load an arrow into the bow. You've got to do this in a safe location because you've got to draw your bow. You don't want to draw it without an arrow in there, because if you accidentally fire your bow with no arrow in there, it's going to be a dry fire and you're going to break your bow. So you don't want to do that. But you also, if you've got an arrow in here, you've got to make absolutely sure that you've got a safe place to draw it. So we're going to draw back, pull back, open our hand. I'm going to go on the kisser button. I also put my nose right on the string, all lined up. My anchor point's perfect, my hand's perfect, the bow is centered, the dot is not centered, the green window's high, and maybe just a little bit needs to move to the right. So I'm going to let the bow down and do the adjustment. You use the smallest wrench, and you don't have to turn it very far. The arrow tells you up, so we're going to go down. And we've also got to turn it in just a little bit. It doesn't take much. Now, if you don't see the window at all, you may have to kind of torque the bow around and try to find out where it is, and then you're going to have to move the window in accordingly. Typically, 2 or 3 times is all adjustment you'll need. Try this again. Full draw, open hand, anchor points. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And it's perfect. So the next thing we need to do is we need to go downrange to the target and get our windage and elevation. Always remember, if the arrow hits left, move the sight housing left. You got to follow the arrow. If it hits to the right, move it to the right. This is our first shot. Remember, we want to move the sight housing to the left because we shot to the left. Okay, I've moved it a little bit too far. Now it's over to the right, so I'm going to move it back. Perfect windage. All right, one of the things I want to show you here, you can see how these pins are gapped for 20 and 30. This is our rover pin, and we're probably going to want to gap up here about the same, somewhere right in there. That's going to be our 40-yard pin. And once we shoot that and we kind of adjust it, whatever we need, we'll mark over here on the side for 40. And then we'll gap it out again, probably about the same gap for 50. And that's how we'll do it. We'll gap it on the side right there.